Solar Flash Update December 1st, 2025. Solar Maximum is here. Stay tuned because I'm going to go through this list of very important information that you're going to want to hear, especially understanding that this major frequency split we've been talking about is in fact happening right now. To understand this, I suggest that you question your reality and then change it. ThunderWizard.com is the website that supports this YouTube channel. Please go and subscribe and learn powerful practices that will help your energy body shift up to the next level. There's personal mentorship, spiritual counseling, live Zoom group classes. My books can be found at michaelwilliamdenny.com. And you can also support the channel by going to support.thunderwizard.com, and you will get gifts from me in direct response to those support that you choose to give. And bear in mind, you will end up saving money as a result of that as well. I'm also promoting my line of herbs, herbs.thunderwizard.com. These are supplements that I use on a daily basis to help my body handle the frequency shift that we are undergoing. Go and check that out at herbs.thunderwizard.com. Most important thing that I'd like from you is to show up to these live guided interdimensional meditations, which we do live streaming here on this YouTube channel every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The single most powerful thing anybody can do are these meditations. All right, so things are about to really heat up energetically. So I'm going to walk through this major frequency split that we are experiencing right now. Let me remind you that the solar flash event is underway. It has been going on officially since December of 2022. Since December of 2022, I paused because for some reason I wanted to say 2021. December of 2022, I know that because the light beings showed me that, told me that, I experienced it. That's when we really started getting hit with these very powerful solar waves of energy. So the solar flash event, as it was described to me by extraterrestrial light beings, is, quote, a series of solar waves of love that will penetrate the earth, and then as a result of that, there will be an awakening, a shift. We are experiencing that. The planet has been pummeled, has been inundated with higher dimensional frequencies coming from the sun, which has been taking energy directly from what people have called the central sun, which is really the black hole at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. And again, let me remind you that this is something that has been talked about by the New Age Society for many years, many years before I ever even, was even I was never aware of any of this until light beings started talking to me about it. But I didn't know about this stuff until June of 2022. Before that, I had no idea this was going on. But people have been talking about this, and specifically they have been saying that the ascension event is going to be a result of high frequency gamma rays hitting Earth from our sun, but that it will come from what they call the central sun of the galaxy, and then through a wormhole into our sun, and then released onto planet Earth. So that sounds like somebody's talking, I would have said anybody who talks like that doesn't understand science, doesn't understand the galaxy. But our galaxy, in the center of our galaxy, is a massive black hole. Now, as it turns out, this isn't science talking, this is just my understanding from shamanic journeys, that black holes and suns are the opposites of each other. So black holes are actually gateways to higher dimensions, and stars are actually portals where energy from higher dimensions is released into the third dimension. So from that perspective, it's not that big of a leap. But science has been saying very recently, again, no connection to any of this spiritual, ascension event stuff. Scientists have been measuring an increase in gamma frequency radiation hitting Earth, and they say it's coming from our sun. And then they go on to say that that is impossible. Our sun doesn't have the ability to create gamma frequency at that high level, radiation at that high level of frequency. So they're saying that the sun is releasing high gamma frequency radiation and it's hitting Earth, and they don't know where it's coming from, but they know that it has to be coming from the center of our galaxy, because that's the only place, according to them, that has the ability of creating radiation at that frequency. So I find that coincidence very interesting. And it turns out that's what light beings told me was happening. When I heard about this, I asked them, what is this ascension event? What is it going to be? And they said it's going to be a series of solar waves of love that will hit the Earth and penetrate all of the matter on Earth and shift it up to the next level. So we are in that. That has been going on officially since December of 2022. And now, NASA, just a couple of months ago, has officially declared that solar maximum is here. So we've been in a phase called solar maximum, I think 25, number 25. And so the sun has been going through a shift where the poles have been shifting, and there has been, as you've been aware, lots of solar storms that have hit Earth. And so now, according to NASA, the poles of the sun have flipped, which means that we're now in the highest point of solar maximum. So what's going to be interesting is to see what happens with the sun after that. Now, my thoughts about the solar flash have changed. I'm not stuck on any belief about what it is or what it isn't. I was very interested in the idea of a single event. I knew that the solar flash event was a series of solar waves, and my hope was that it would culminate in a final solar flash event that would, completely change everything. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. I'm still open to that. I still think there's a very large possibility that that could still be the case. But I think that we're not out of this solar event that we've been experiencing. I think there's more to come. And I've been receiving a lot of information from my higher dimensional friends that we are in an epic shift of energy. And we are on the cusp of some major transformations, like just complete, total flipping of everything. That everything in our society is going to be flipped on its head. We're already seeing that. We're seeing that on the political stage. I've never seen anything like it. And as long as the powers that be don't launch us into a nuclear war, which they seem to be trying to do, as long as they're not able to accomplish that, and if the incoming administration is able to, get into office without any kind of mysterious, unalivings of people, as long as things continue to go the way that they seem to be going, there's no way that there isn't going to be a huge shift in a very positive direction. But let's go ahead and take a look at the list here so I don't babble on and on. So solar maximum has officially been declared by NASA. 5D frequency is closer than ever. So my experience with myself is that I'm still human in all the ways, positive and negative. That hasn't changed. A lot of my negative 3D attachments have burned away. And I, as you've seen in recent videos over the past, couple of months especially, I have been awakened to my, at least to some degree, to my identity outside of this third dimensional video game. And so my struggle and my work personally has been to expand into those understandings and expand into that identity and learn how to be a multidimensional being where out in the astral realms I am this very powerful, infinite, transformative deity. And in the third dimension, I'm still part of the 3D program, and I have all the same limitations and experiences that, I've always had and that other humans have. And so that has been a pretty interesting experience. But I've leaned into it, and even though I've had my issues like everybody else has, I've stayed leaning into this, and I work very hard to believe what I'm shown, believe what I'm told. And again, I receive messages and communications and energy downloads on a daily basis still. And what is happening is that it's becoming easier and easier for me to relax into, for lack of a better phrase, a 5D frequency, a frequency of love and happiness. So this 5D frequency of love and happiness is closer than ever before. The end result of that is that spiritually focused people who are doing the work, transforming themselves, facing their own limitations, working through their karma, doing things like the energy practices we do here, doing the meditations, doing things like working 12-step programs, and any kind of real self-examining, doing that work. People who are doing that, like me, are finding it easier to shift into that higher dimensional mindset more often and more deeply. So that is going to increase. So the 5D frequency is closer than ever. In fact, it's right here. It's right here next to us. It's closer than we can even begin to. I mean, the veil between what we call 5D and 3D is thinner than ever before. But one of the effects of that is that many people are having a lot of very challenging emotional issues. So I encourage you to do the same kind of work that I'm doing. Examine all of the negative feelings you have about other people. And you're going to find out, the deeper you go into this work, you're going to find out that the majority of the negative experiences you think are happening with other people really aren't happening. They're happening inside of you. It doesn't mean that people aren't doing crazy stuff and aren't being destructive and abusive. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that it is very likely that there is a huge amount of projection that we've been doing our entire existence, and we weren't just aware of it. We just didn't realize we were doing it. And I'm more and more aware. Of course, I'm lucky because I live alone and I don't have a lot of interactions except for my spiritual practices. So I'm able to do this kind of self-examination perhaps more easily than others. But I recommend that everybody do that. That you become aware of the negativity that just erupts within you that you project onto your external environment. This is actually an act of resistance to the higher frequency that is becoming more and more available. So, this higher frequency is going to repel lower vibrational thinking, which means people are going to want to run away from that frequency. It was very telling to me. There was a while back. Anyway, a while back, somebody said to me, somebody that I cared about, that I had nothing but positive feelings for, that was, that was close to me, that was involved in one of the groups I was in, and this person just out of nowhere, seemingly just out of nowhere, just started attacking me in the worst ways I've ever experienced. And one of the things this person said was, I don't know the exact words, but they used the word frequency. And this person said, I can't be around your frequency, or I don't like your frequency. And I felt that to be pretty indicative of what was going on. And that is what is happening right now. So there are people that are doing that. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is in case people are doing that to you, don't take it personally. But also, we still do it within ourselves. We get upset and we project and we have fears. I've been doing that for, the past, month or so. I've been having a lot of, personal changes and shifts, and I've been experiencing a lot of fear. And the fear, as it turns out, has been fairly unjustified. And it's really been, I've been projecting onto my reality dangers that weren't there. And so we're moving into a time where we are going to be operating from more of an intuitive response to the spirit of the universe, to source, to your soul. And the best way to do that is through surrender, trust, and taking actions towards your joy. So we're going to be moving into a world where instead of our entire reality is going to be based on our fear and our survival needs, and our society is based on that. Society is, and this is something that, forgive me, maybe this is wrong with me, but I'm enjoying watching, is I'm watching celebrity. The cult of celebrity is destroying itself. There was a time not too long ago when we really worshipped our celebrities. And that's, they just can't do that anymore. And what's interesting is to watch the celebrities whose careers are starting to struggle and crumble because of all the shift that's happening. But you really see that they're panicking, that their entire identity is based on having all of this attention and, being fawned over by, the population at large. That's going to come crumbling down. And the same thing, of course, with the dark force elites who have been propping up celebrities. And we're seeing all that. I'm not going to get into that, the whole Diddy thing, you know what I'm talking about. We're starting to see through all of that. This is just the beginning. More and more of this is going to come. So the way that we get through life going forward is going to be based on surrender and trust and taking actions from our bliss and our joy instead of our fear and our need for survival. So spiritually focused humans are about to begin shifting even more. Happiness is a frequency we can choose to experience. So this is something that I'm experiencing, and it's, I can't speak for you. I don't know what your experience is like, because this is a new experience for me. But I can literally go from A to Z, depending on where I focus my energy. If I focus my energy in the normal 3D survival, operating out of fear and self-devaluation and needing to be loved and accepted, and which is what money and career and reputation is all about. If I go into that realm, that thing does its normal thing, but I can literally just focus in the other direction, and there will be a huge shift in my energy. It's like night and day. And I've never had that to this degree. I mean, I've always been able to, but it's been a long haul. You're wrapped up in the normal 3D grind, and then you pull yourself in the other direction, and then you have to really struggle to take steps in that other direction, and you might not see a shift in your feelings or in your reality. It'll take a while for that to kick in. So it's like swimming upstream. But this one is like there's two streams right next to each other. And depending on, which direction I put my rudder, I'll be in the 5D stream where I'll be feeling a lot of very powerful energy, and at the same time a lot of bliss and a lot of joy, which isn't necessarily comfortable. It's a different frequency. It's a different way to perceive reality. But it is incredibly blissful and beautiful. And so I can go from being wrapped up in my own normal thing, and I'm not downplaying it. It's just the way that I've functioned, all of my 3D life. And I can either do that, or I can just make the subtlest of shift in the other direction, and then boom, I'll be in a whole different mindset, and energetically I'll be in a completely different place. And it's literally black and white for me. So I don't know that I'm the only one going through this. Perhaps this is true for other people. And I know a lot of people are struggling. So I want you to know that I'm giving you, especially if you're doing the live guided interdimensional meditations, I'm giving you some very powerful tools. And one of them is when you talk to your light being guide and you ask them to show you how they see you, I tell you to then repeat back to them what you saw, felt, and heard. It's very important that you get in the habit of doing that. I'll also ask you to ask them to give you a message or to give you some kind of verbal description of who you really are, your true identity. And then I tell you to repeat back to them what they said. I'm not doing this randomly. I'm doing it because I'm teaching you a very important, probably the most important practical tool in your everyday 3D life to shift. So if you find yourself wrapped up in, so-and-so's doing this to me, and I don't like these people, and I don't have enough of this, and that's, you start going in that realm, then stop and repeat back. Let's see, what was the most recent one that I got? One of the most recent ones I got was, "You are the light of inspiration." That's what I was told. So I could, if I, hypothetically speaking, if I was wrapped up in my nonsense and I came to realize that I was doing that, I could stop and I could say to myself, perhaps even out loud, I am the light of inspiration. I am the light of inspiration. And many times when I do that, I feel a huge energetic jolt, a very blissful energetic jolt. And it feels like the light beings are like, yeah, that's it. But it's also, it's opening a portal to that realm that is always like that 5D frequency that is full of bliss and joy and high vibrational energy all the time. So that's my experience. We're right here, neck and neck. This is the time to really start investing in that higher dimensional energy. And it is, you are walking away. You are abandoning the 3D earth. It's, there's a ship. You're in one ship and there's one right here. You got to step off of one ship and get in the other one. I made the example of, you're sitting in a chair, and if you want to sit in that chair, you have to stand up, get out of the chair you're in, and then sit in the other one. You can't sit in two chairs at the same time. And if you just sit there in the chair you're in, looking at the other one, thinking about sitting in it, it's not going to do anything. You have to get up and sit in the chair. So if you can think of the frequency like that, and the way that you get into that other frequency is by, it's a very simple, and the thing is, you don't have to get rid of all of your ugly feelings. What we think is that if we have a bunch of ugly feelings, those feelings are preventing us from being in a higher dimensional state, and that's not accurate. And so we try and get rid of the feelings. This is why people do drugs, by the way. why people drink, why people do drugs. It's because they're trying to externally change their emotional and physical feelings. And so we have this belief that we have to change our feelings before we can take action in the opposite direction, and it's just not true. So you can be feeling the worst possible thing you can imagine. Stop and then repeat, I am the light of inspiration. I'm the light of inspiration. And, for me, not every time, but a lot of times it just shifts me right into that other realm, and then I start taking actions. I take actions on my joy. I take actions on what I want. I stop working so hard to, the 3D grind. It just doesn't work for me anymore. My future is in this new frequency, so that's where all of my investment is going. And I'm getting ready to leave this world behind. What that's going to look like, I don't know. Am I going to actually physically shift? I got a message once a while back, which hasn't happened yet, that said people are going to think you died, which gave me the impression I'm going to shift from one world to another. I don't know if that's what it is, or if it's just I'm happy and peaceful while everybody else is upset. I don't know. But I do know that the frequency shift is very real. So I want to share my experiences with you. And again, if you need help with this, these are what these practices, the Warrior 90-Day Challenge, the Maoshan 5 Element, the Awakening the Immortals, all of that stuff is there to help you. Those all create portals to other dimensions, and you will be able to work with the beings in those dimensions who will help you. But you have to reach out and create a frequency portal. They can't do it for you. You have to do it. That's why we are the ones that have to do this live guided meditation. We are the ones that have to bring what we're calling the solar flash. That's why we're doing that. We have to do it. Nobody can do it for us. If somebody did it for us, it wouldn't hold, it wouldn't work. That's why saviors never really save anybody. We have to be willing to do the work to save ourselves. And like Joe Dispenza's experience that I remember him saying was that light beings were there in his workshop, and he said, why don't you come and join us? And they said, we can't. If we lower ourselves to your frequency, we would be doing ourselves harm, and we love ourselves too much to harm ourselves. But if you can reach up towards our higher frequency, we will meet you halfway. And so this is all that you need to be able to focus on. If you make the attempt to reach up to higher frequencies, then you will be met. There's armies of higher dimensional beings waiting to help pull you up to their frequency. All right, so happiness is a frequency we can choose to experience. Communications with light beings will increase. I believe that this is going to start exploding. Once the narrative continues to crumble, which it is, it's absolutely crumbling. Once the 3D narrative continues to crumble, it'll be more and more accessible for human beings, more and more human beings, to reach out and communicate and interact with their light being family. Starseeds will begin to receive power downloads. Now, I know that this is happening for me. So this isn't something I've gotten a message saying this is going to happen for everybody. I don't know what's going to happen. I can only imagine. It only makes sense. So light beings said to me, 2.5 years ago, when they were just absolutely, huge amounts of higher dimensional energy getting just channeled in me. You guys remember if you were there. I was barely hanging on. But now I'm getting more and more energy downloads. They come to me on almost a daily basis saying, we're going to give you an energy upload, an energy upgrade. And the energies are very different. They're things I haven't ever experienced before. And, so I do have to go with them, but I am I can feel myself shifting more and more. And I believe that this will be the case for everybody. So I'm guessing, but based on the energy upgrades I've been getting and the downloads that I've been receiving, the messages that I've been getting is that, we're getting to a point where the energy is going to get so intense that there's going to be this massive, perhaps instantaneous shift. Perhaps it is the flash itself. One person left a comment on the channel saying the flash is going to be an internal experience. I've heard other people say that as well. I don't really know. I don't know what it is, how it's going to be. I accept that as a real possibility, though, that the flash is something that happens internally. And then when you have the flash, boom, you're no longer in 3D, you're somewhere else. Again, I don't have the specifics on what's going to happen, but those are good ways to look at it. And so if my energy messages that I'm getting now, which I've been being told is that something huge is coming and that there's energy building up in me that's going to result in some major power shift in ways I've yet to find out. I don't think it's likely to assume that I'm alone in this. I think this has to be happening with a lot of people. Anyway, you know what your experience is. Ascension is going to increase exponentially in 2025. Now, I think that is also, again, this isn't a psychic prediction. This is just, it's just clearly obvious. The shift that is about to occur, I think, if we get through December and the first part of January, I think everything is going to shift exponentially. I think there's going to be just absolute changes on every possible level. And I believe it's very possible that starseeds who are now working, most starseeds, real starseeds, not the new age frauds out there. There's plenty of them out there. And there's plenty of people who are distracting and, acting like starseeds. I like that term. There's plenty of people out there acting like that, and I don't think they are. I think a lot of them are frauds, and I think a lot of them are, opportunity seekers, and they're just seeking to benefit from people's intense need and desire for that. But I think there's a lot of real starseeds who are doing work, and they're underneath the surface. You don't really see them. They don't have huge followings, but they're doing a lot of powerful work. If you're on my channel and you're doing these meditations, you are one of those starseeds. And I believe, based on the messages that I've been getting and the way that it feels and just my common sense looking forward, I think that now starseeds are going to be, slingshotted to the top. And they will be having a much larger and perhaps more public influence on the narrative in the world. Anyway, those are my thoughts about that. So, major frequency split is happening now. So those are my thoughts about solar flash event. That picture is how I've been feeling a lot lately. More and more energy is getting dumped into me sometimes, and that's kind of how it feels to me. So that's it. Again, please come to the live guided interdimensional meditations. It is the single most powerful thing anybody on planet Earth can be doing. And, the time for jockeying for position inside of the third dimension has come to an end. And if you want real power is what we do in these meditations. Not what's happening inside of the video game. What's happening outside of the video game. We change the actual structure of planet Earth in those meditations. And so I invite you to be a part of that. And again, thunderwizard.com is what supports this channel. As long as we're in the 3D world, I need that money thing in order to survive. But I am providing the most powerful energy practices on planet Earth in the history of the human race. I know that how unbelievable it sounds. I don't have an ego attachment to it. It's just the truth. These are practices that have been downloaded to me throughout my entire spiritual journey, and it's only recently that I look back on it and I realize that these are coming directly from higher dimensional beings. So take advantage of those. And again, I'm taking apprentices. It's very helpful to have a mentor. So if you want to work with me directly, you go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe to the apprenticeship levels. And again, my books are michaelwilliamdenny.com. You can support the channel. You can see it on the side there if you want to get the same services that you get from the Thunder Wizard channel, but you want to support me directly as I'm making a big, actual physical move in my life. It's very helpful. You will get these gifts from me in return. Very helpful. I need energy enhancing foods. What we're going through energetically, our physical bodies need to have adaptogens. Things like ginseng and mushrooms, chaga, reishi, ashwagandha. I take handfuls of this stuff every day because the amount of energy that's going through me, my body needs that. And this is one of the reasons that I've come up with herbs.thunderwizard.com. These are excellent products and I take them myself every day. If you're somebody that's already taking supplements, you're already paying the money every month for these supplements, these are among the best I've ever taken. And again, I use them. It's got my name on it, Thunder Wizard. And so take a look at that. If you're already spending the money, you might as well get it from somebody you know and trust. And at the same time, you're supporting the channel. All right, that's it, my friends. I wish you all the best. Please take very good care of yourselves. I love you all, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you very much.